TALLSHON, it's your boy TALLSHON. TS is who I am. We back with another episode of the Black Male Podcast with my guy, my brother.
Tre-Dot is who I am.
Here you go with the bullshit, still stealing my moniker. You know what I mean? But this is episode, what is it? Episode, what, 30, was it 38, 39?
Nah, you playing games.
40?
40, man. Cut it out. Cut it out.
We in the 40s already? Yeah, look.
Yeah, get your life right. Get your life right.
I do too much. I got too many podcasts to worry about on this network, so then got to
Nobody asked you all that. Nobody asked you all that. They ain't gonna do it right now. Come on, let's go.
But yo, we got a guest. Y'all know on our Tuesday episodes, every now and again we try to bring in a guest, but the guest has to be meaningful. They got to bring substance to what we currently do and what we talk about. And today's guest is nothing different. We have Kris White. How are you doing, my brother?
I'm good, my brother. I appreciate you guys having me on here, man, for this first time. Hey, I'm connected now. I'm national now.
Oh, no, you tapped in now. You definitely tapped in. So question, man, just give everybody just a little background about you, man. Just, quick synopsis of who is Kris White.
I'm Kris White from the Cuts University podcast, where we teach something, we learn something, where we all win. I have a background in mental and behavioral health. Specialize in addiction and recovery. I specialize in wellness recovery action planning, grief counseling, addiction counseling across the board, board certified therapist. What else? Without trying to go crazy, I'm here to make a difference and be as impactful as I possibly can. We live in a society right now where a lot of things are just open and freely taken advantage of on a daily, and most of the people that are taken advantage of are the ones that are most underserved. And in that community where we need mental help the most, we don't receive it. So I came in with an objective to be for our people that look like me, people that look like Trey, people that look like you, and that brown included. And so when you look at these populations where you have people who are not getting the necessary help, you have what they want to call controlled chaos. And that controlled chaos is just medicate them. That medication turns into an addiction. Yep. That addiction turns into more problems. So we all have, I'm a firm believer that we all have addictions. We all have disabilities. Some you can see, right. Some believe that the addiction has to be from an illicit point of view, but it doesn't. Sugar, salt, and caffeine are the most addictive things on the planet.
Yep. Facts.
But cocaine looks just like all three of those, right?
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. And that's the
cocaine
sad part,
is
man.
Out of your system in 72 hours.
Oh, it is.
Sugar is out of your system in 3 to 6 weeks.
Oh shit! I didn't even know that fact. I did not know that fact. Okay. But yo, that makes sense, man. I think black and brown people, man, we're so underserved, and in this world where we didn't just go out and find addiction, especially during the crack epidemic and everything like that. That was brought to us, and I'm thinking we all at an age where we remember those days. You know what I mean? I'm from Detroit, Michigan. I'm born in the 80s. I've seen crack sweep through my city. And even when I moved down south, watch it still kind of bubble in a time where you go to a small town, you know damn well they know nothing about this, but it was here as well. You know, it was in that small town in South Carolina as well. But as you can see right now, we have what they call now the opioid epidemic, where they're finding help for people that's not us. You know what I mean?
Right.
We got
it doesn't look like us.
Right. It's mass incarceration for us. Go to jail. If you sold drugs, took drugs, you go to jail. It wasn't let's figure out how we fix that, and it fucked up the family structure in my book. But for them, let's find a way to fix them so their family structure is constantly intact.
You brought up a great point. I work for I'm a consultant for a company that's one of the largest in the United States, and won't mention their name, but for every client that walks through the door, for every person that I put into this treatment program, that client is worth $300,000. $300,000. Now that's based around commercial insurance, right?
Yep.
How many people have commercial insurance to the tune of being able to pay out almost 300 grand in need when you're in need of services as such as this?
No one.
Not very many.
Not many at all.
My wife works for the government, incredible insurance. I have friends who work for railroad companies, incredible insurance. But the average person is either on Gold Card, which is Medicaid, or Medicare if you're older, or if you're in the military, you can get the necessary help. But most people just walking around average every day, it's hard to afford insurance.
Yep.
So, prime example, I have a gentleman that I work with, and daughter's a straight A student. She's going to an Ivy League university. The last week of high school, she decides at her job with her friend to smoke synthetic marijuana. Now, the thing about synthetic marijuana, you don't know that K2, that spice, whatever you want to call it, you don't know what's in it.
Nope. So
what it did, it blew her mind. It blew her mind to the point where she had a psychotic episode. First thing they had to do was take her to, she's considered an admit at a psych unit against her will because she's a danger to the public and herself. Well, when she comes out of the psych unit, now she needs to go into a treatment program. That treatment program is going to run you base $24,000 to $60,000 just to get in it for 30 days. For 30 days. Now, the way treatment works is this. It's 3 phases. It's detox, there's residential treatment, and then it's a step down, which is sober living, which is considered post-care or aftercare. And combined with that, you have IOP. IOP is intensive outpatient programming. Mm-hmm. Now, the IOP is set up so that now I can do this with Trey virtually. Now I can do this with TS virtually. You don't have to be in my presence. But sometimes that doesn't work for people. You need more intensive where you have to be in front of someone on a daily and be held accountable for every aspect of your actions.
Right.
And most people cannot afford those services. I mean, look, I do private sessions. I have a private practice called the Launchpad Collective, and my sessions are $320 an hour. Well, for 50 minutes, $320. Now, I'll work out some payment plans with you or put you on a sliding scale, but that's not all of the time. So where we also need the help the most, sometimes that care is going to be so expensive, you can't really afford it.
And a lot of insurance companies are not going to pick that up either. A lot of them are going to deny it. My wife works in insurance, and she watched denials happen all the time. And she like, all the time. These people really need it, but she was like, they're not going to pay it out. And she know they're not going to pay it out. But she submits it anyway to watch it denied. And she's like, look at that mental health service. And I hate to say, what she did was look at the color of each person and watch the denials happen. And she's like, look at this shit. Every time. And I'm like, that's part of our life.
They rather medicate you. Let me put it to you like this. So you spoke about the opioid crisis, right?
Right.
The opioid crisis came about because housewives, middle America housewives, needed something to stay stimulated and be able to be good housewives and stay at home and make the house a home.
Right.
And so they used to take what they used to call back in the 60s pep pills, where they found out these pep pills, which was meth, a form of meth, could be used for truck drivers. Now, the truck drivers take the pep pills and they stay up all day. They could drive all day. They could work more, right? Well, when the wives started taking the pep pills and mixing it with alcohol, that combination created this euphoria. It didn't just make you hyper enough, but the right blend, you're doing it with alcohol or martini or whatever you're using. Next thing you know, you feel like you're in la la land. You feel great. Then going into the 70s, you see this spike in these type of pills. So now you're seeing Oxy, you're seeing Xanax, you're seeing benzos, you're seeing things coming out, and you're saying, whoa, wait a minute. This can make more money if we supply it like this.
Right.
Which is crazy because the companies that have made trillions of dollars off the opioid industry are now in the treatment industry. So they've created their own ecosystem. I have a client for life, just like medicine, just like today's medicine. no one cures anything anymore.
No.
You treat it and you treat it and you continue to treat it. One thing I noticed is that Trey always posts things about mental health and health and nutrition.
Right.
And I look at it and I say, man, what is the damn deal with this CMOS? That's what first got my attention with him. I was like, this dude's swole as hell. He looked like somebody I played ball with. And then he would always show his.
He can't play a liquor ball.
Yo, don't listen to this. You hear him laughing immediately, right? He can't even hold himself in.
Right.
He can't even laugh straight.
My bad. When it come to him, a little hate every now and again. He know I love him. That's my guy.
Yeah. It's all family, man.
No doubt. So, he would post things about health and nutrition. Yeah. And what's funny, you got to screenshot what he posts and then zoom in on it to see what it actually says because it's so small.
Right.
And I said, you know what? Let me check. I said, I don't know about no damn CMOS, but let me see what else he's got over here. But everything that he was saying is exactly what I used to call one of my big brothers when I was in college. The same thing. Diet creates everything.
Yep.
And I knew that, but when you're younger, you're already running and your metabolism is so high. No matter what you eat, you're burning it off, right?
Yep, I agree.
I don't know if any of y'all have kids, but now I have two teenagers. And bruh, I'm looking at my son. He looks exactly how I looked at 16, 17, 18. And I'm like, okay.
Right.
I'm looking at my daughter. She looks just like my wife. My wife used to run track for Iowa, went to the Olympics. She looks like she runs track. And I say, okay, damn, man, I'm getting this dad bod over here. I gotta start flexing because my son, this little young lion, is starting to press.
Oh yeah. Oh, I know.
He thinks he wants to lead, and I'm like, there's a lot more to it.
Look, I have two young lions, and I definitely understand. Because of Trey is why I'm getting myself back in shape. I play ball overseas. I play ball in college, and I started, I broke my leg, and I started developing a dad bod. So because of him, do you want titties, ninja?
What you being in therapy, I mean, interests me on a lot of levels, even deeper than the fact that I want to enter that realm. I was at my worst. I was 360 pounds when I was an alcoholic, right? And any sessions I would go to.
When did you realize you were an alcoholic, though?
The realization, just having that level of accountability, looking in the mirror. My eyes were puffy. Was aggravated all the time. I was dealing with women I had no business dealing with. And the only thing that calmed me down was sex and alcohol. That was my medicine. So my life was medicinal. My whole entire life was medicinal. You know what I mean? So been tired of myself. Sleep apnea. I had a severe case of sleep apnea. And I was told I had to lose 60 pounds in order to survive comfortably, right? So I'm like, 60 pounds, man, fuck you, man. I ain't losing no goddamn 60 pounds. It's just unrealistic, right? End up losing 100, but that's another thing. But everyone wanted to medicate me. And I wasn't down with that shit. I was like, I'm not taking no medicine. You're going to put me on something that's just going to make me a vegetable. You know what I mean? Then I'm going to be dependent on that, thinking I need that just to be calm. And all I needed to do. But
did they say you were pre-diabetic?
No, they told me I was manic depression and potentially violent. Was what I was told.
Okay,
that's what I was told. I heard the pre-diabetic thing before, but
pre-diabetic, and I cut immediately. They gave me medicine. I didn't take it. I cut everything. I cut everything sugar related. I don't eat nothing sugar based at all. I cut everything sugar related. Lost weight immediately once I started cutting, and then he's the one that got me on CMOS. Tomcat Ali, a bunch of different stuff that I also did the same thing. I researched, even though this is my man showing me everything, and I'm looking at his body, but our bodies react different to things.
Right.
So I researched and did.
But I dove out there cold turkey though. I don't suggest people to do how I did it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I got rid of the alcohol. I started hitting the gym. I started hitting spin classes. Once I got comfortable, I hit the weight training. I was CMOS heavy. I stopped eating meat, plant-based. You know what I mean? I detoxed myself actually from everyone for about 2 years. Everyone. Because nothing around me was solid because everyone watched me be this person. You know what I'm saying? And then I started to see things clearer because my mind was clearer. I was like, wait a minute. This been going on all of these years. So didn't mean these people were bad people, but they were bad people for me.
Word.
You know what I'm saying? And those 2 years of detox weren't easy. You got days where you're by yourself where you may cry. You got days by yourself where you may feel alone. But when those days are over, you become the person that you were meant to be.
Fact.
You know what I'm saying? And I know I have a story to tell. I know I have things to help other people. And that's my goal. That's my desire with everything, with music, from the podcast, from my writings, from whatever. But that's me. These are things that I enjoy. You know what I'm saying? Like I enjoy waterfalls. I enjoy parks. I enjoy things of that nature. That's what I enjoy. But in my past, I found myself in the clubs. I found myself around random women. I found myself always around alcohol. I found myself around drugs, even though I didn't partake. That's what I was always around. Now, I'm not knocking anyone's lifestyle, but that isn't the lifestyle for Tre.
Word.
So I had to go through all of that process to realize what was good for me. So I don't knock it, but the alcohol was that escapism that so many people keep within their life.
Yes.
That so many people don't even think that's what they're doing. They think, well, I'm a social drinker. Well, damn, you social every day? You drink every day.
3 or 4
But you
times
say you're a
day.
social drinker. But you're a social drinker. Ain't that much social in the world?
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? We become obese and we say, well, I'm a little fat, but I ain't as fat as him.
Right.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? I ain't as fat as her. I drink a little bit, but I don't drink as much as them. You know what I mean? And when we deal with infidelity and the random women and the promiscuity, you know what I mean? I get a little ass, but I don't get as much ass as him. I ain't that bad.
Pastor Johnson getting way more ass than me.
You know what I'm saying?
Word.
I'm getting a little ass, but I ain't that bad. Yeah, like I ain't like Pastor Johnson. He tearing the whole congregation up. I want to get a little bit.
Right.
It's like we pacify ourselves, we pacify our friends. And TS and I, we try to hold ourselves accountable, man. And I seen him grow as a man. I seen him grow as a father. I seen him grow as a husband. And, you know, my growth is on other levels because I was all over the fucking place. You know what I'm saying? And it's like you're around people that enable you.
Indeed.
Because a lot of times people don't really want to see you succeed. Even when I first wanted to get into psychology, I had family members telling me, well, you know what happens when you get into psychology, you become as crazy as the people you treat. And I'm thinking, first of all, you can't call these people crazy.
Right. And
second of all, not to cut you off, I want you to touch on that. But second of all, I had to get the realization of I'm different from mostly anybody I've ever encountered, which isn't a fault of theirs or of mine. It's just my surroundings weren't where they need to be. You know, now I got people around me that'll probably forever be family.
Oh yeah.
It's a smaller knit group, but it's solid. Me and you been going back and forth for 2 years and we never even fucking met.
Right.
It's really the first time we face to face on this virtual shit.
Hey.
But that's the power of the universe. But in order to accept that power of the universe, you have to be accepting of it.
Okay.
Indeed. And most people try to close themselves off and they say that they're good. And you know, like I say, my objective is to always to make everyone inclusive. And mental health is one of those aspects. So someone asked me the other day, and I was talking to them. They didn't know I was a therapist. I said, have you ever sought out help? And the first thing they said was, man, I'm not crazy. I don't need a therapist. And I had to ask them, I say, do you think a crazy person would know that they need therapy?
I used to think like that. I used to think like that. I did. When I was younger, I thought
we're conditioned. We're conditioned to believe that.
Because because in our community, you're not taught to go seek help in a therapist. You're taught to go to Jesus. And I'm gonna keep it a buck. I'm not a fan of that neither.
Word.
You know what I mean? That's not my total, you know what I mean? I'm spiritual, I'm not religious. You know, I'm very spiritual. But so I was taught that. You know what I mean? So it was a lot of time mentally.
Everybody's taught basically the same.
And that's sad, bro. It was points in my life where I was going through a lot of mental issues, you know what I'm saying? Mental, where I had to figure it out for the most part myself. Where I had to go on moments of finding myself. My addiction was different. I wasn't addicted to alcohol or nothing. I'm the wackest drinker in the world. I will front like a motherfucker, but I don't be drinking nothing. People would think I'm lit. It's only a few times in my life where I just really got tossed. And that was, you know, college and when I got married. Me and my wife just went all out. And we haven't done that since. And we've been married now for 9 years.
We got a lot in common right there.
You know what I mean? Like, and my issue was I'm used to being the man. I'm used to the notoriety, the pats on the back, the everyone around me. That was my addiction. I was addicted to always being that man, being the man.
Oh, Great
You know
point.
what I mean?
Great point. We're gonna unpack that.
That's a bad because you don't listen to the people around you that's telling you, nah, fam. I had a whole lot of money and didn't realize everyone was around me because what I can provide for them. You know what I mean? At that time. I'm just like, fuck it. I'm that guy. I'm in Florida. I'm Porsches. I'm in the elaborate places. You know, women all over me constantly. I play ball. I do my 1-2. And it was like addictive. Then when all that shit stopped, I didn't know who I was. That person I was seeing wasn't conducive with how I thought I was supposed to be. And it was funny because that's when I found my true self. Like I almost killed myself.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? I almost committed suicide, not knowing like what the fuck is going on. Where I literally now it's like, oh, my true self. I'm starting to really find my true self and who I really am now at 41. You know what I'm saying? It took some time, but I think my latter years to be honest, man, when I met my wife till now is when I really found myself. Because my ex-wife wasn't shit. She was just the same shit that just kept feeding that need that I felt like I needed. You know what I'm saying? She was only around for that. And when that shit was gone, she was out. You know what I mean?
That's interesting because I wonder if you were to go back and just have a conversation with your ex-wife and just ask her some specific questions about you and your relationship. Oh, you did?
Oh, I did. Yeah.
Oh, that's real.
And I got all the
Did you get some brutal, honest answers?
Oh, yeah. Hell yeah. Yeah.
Was it enlightening?
Oh, yeah. It helped me out a lot. She was a piece of shit her damn self. And we were just feeding each other piece of shit needs. You know what I mean? Like, that's all. We was literally feeding each other that piece of shit need that we needed. Her daddy issues and everything that she had, and me with my own personal issues and wanting to be like my pops. My pops was the man. So I was like, oh, I got to be the man. I uphold that. And I miss a lot of his teachings from afar. You know what I mean? That's why now I go through Ramadan. Like right now it's Ramadan. I'm fasting. I get up before sunrise. I eat. I fast. I don't eat nothing the rest of the day. Sunset, I get back. I pray a couple times a day. I'm not Muslim, but I follow that teaching based on him because that was the time when he found himself in enlightenment. You know what I'm saying? So, and then I'm just, he's no longer here, but it was for me to continue feeling close to him. You know what I'm saying? So, and I'm finding, I'm finding myself more and more every day as a man. Even now, man, yesterday was a hard day. You know what I'm saying? Yesterday was a hard day. It's the second day of fast. It was a hard day. You know what I'm saying? And I'm moving around. I got to go talk to people. I'm at a church helping them out with some stuff. You know what I mean? Because I do a lot of tech and business stuff. So I'm helping them out. Then I'm over here and I'm doing this. And then I also got my nephews at the house. I got a house full of boys. And I'm on the grill. I can't eat, but I'm on the grill chefing. I'm hungry as I don't know what. You know what I mean? And I'm getting mad at things I see. And I'm realizing it ain't them. Let me fall back for a minute. But that's
but yo, it's crazy. When you said taking things from your father and put them in your lifestyle is funny because like I grew up in an environment like my parents been married 65 years, right? And my father was the provider, this, that, or whatever, man. So you grow up within that environment, and like anything less than that, you feel like you're a failure.
Right.
Not having a family. You even go to family reunions. You're not married yet?
Who, me?
No.
How you and your wife? You know what I'm saying? When you go to family reunions.
Okay, when you go to, got you.
Yeah, so, I got married young, had my son young, and like, I was a fucking failure as a fucking husband. I was a fucking failure. I was fucking
that's probably because of a lot of the drinking and everything that you was doing at that time contributing.
Yeah, but you have the pressures. Like my father was a pastor for 30 years. Like by the time we left New York, he was a pastor. You have the pressures of living up to those things, and you're not that person. And it's like everything that's about you, everybody thinks is retarded. Like I read. People look at that like, you're gonna write a book. He does that.
Right.
You know what I mean? You want to be a therapist. Why you want to be a therapist? Like, how you gonna have insurance? Everybody, for everything I'm good at, everybody has something to say.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Now I'm at a point where I don't care. It's never too late or whatever. But me and she has something all the time. When you want to do things, people always have an issue with it because they don't understand it. Because they came up in a way where you get a job, you get insurance, you retire. That's it.
I worked
That's
for the
it.
government. I used to work for the government, and I quit.
You don't take vacations with your wife. You don't bring your kids on vacation, but maybe once a year. You don't really enjoy life at all.
No. You become a robot to the system.
Yeah, you don't use your brain for nothing. You just work for somebody.
Yeah.
You have insurance. You come home. You eat dinner. You have breakfast. You go to church on Sunday. You pray about your problems. Then the rest of the week, you have no idea what the hell you got going on. Because my whole thing is, and I stayed in trouble in church because I'm like, okay, we just said a prayer. What are we going to do next? I need a job. I need to go back to school. I need to figure out why I can't get financial aid because I got these charges. I got to get something popping. So you're going to pray for me, but when I leave, I'm fucked up out here.
I got to deal with reality.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's my biggest thing with it. With anything, it's like with therapy, at least you're talking about things, you're finding solutions, you're finding ways you can put things into action. You know what I'm saying? But our community is not therapy. And like he said, they want you to pray on things. But the problem is our communities, we have nothing to do after the prayer. We have no idea. Most of our families are fucked up.
There's no action plan.
And with black people, we don't want to give information to nobody because we always feel like somebody's going to take something from us. We'll sit here and watch niggas fail and laugh at people's failures because we got ours. I got mine. Yeah. I got mine. And it's too much of that going on. Bruh. We can say all day where it's not as bad as it used to be. It shouldn't even fucking exist.
It shouldn't exist.
Like, we're our own worst enemies. First of all, it's hard enough to get out of your own way.
And not have any guidance or mentoring.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Someone mentioned this last night, and they said, it's like that crab in the bucket theory. And I said, well, really what you really should focus on is why is there a bucket in the first place?
Right.
Yeah, exactly. That root cause analysis. That root cause analysis.
I've always said that. I was like, yo, anytime somebody said crab in a bucket or crab in a barrel, I'm like, why is the barrel there? Why are we free to make decisions?
Who put the barrel there?
Right. Exactly.
Why? What purpose does it serve? It serves a purpose for someone.
Right.
You just might be a part of it and unknowingly, are a part of this situation. Exactly. So you touched on a number of things. Well, both of you guys touched on a number of things. We from 3 different parts of the world.
Right. Facts.
We all have had trauma in our lives at some point or another, whether it's verbal, physical, or emotional trauma, right?
Right.
What we don't do as men, especially as black men, we don't allow ourselves to get the emotional support or create the emotional support systems that we truly need. Now, I grew up at a time where everybody, you had to have that hardness. You had to be real. You couldn't show vulnerability. Couldn't be that happy-go-lucky guy. And that was the kid that I was, because that person gets victimized.
Yep.
I grew up in 5th Ward, and you smiling and you loving life, and I was a highly intelligent kid, and when I was in school, they used to try to get kids that exceeded in academics, and they'd skip you from the 2nd to 3rd grade all the way up to the 6th grade. Now imagine you go from the 2nd to 3rd grade to now you with the 6th graders.
Yeah.
And that's what they called magnet programs back then. Now they call them
I can't remember. I know exactly what you're talking about there.
So, and I'm like, nah, it just didn't feel right. I could do it. It wasn't a problem. When I found out that I was in the 2nd grade, I'm reading on the collegiate level, and they didn't believe it. So they have you tested. Yep. It's like, no, this kid is not supposed. He's the one that's not supposed to be here.
Yep.
But I grew up in a household where brute force was the order of the day. So everyone that my mother was involved with, from my brother's fathers, my sister's father, they were all physically abusive. So domestic violence was in the home. So that changed something in me, and I didn't know it then, but that changed something in me that said, when I get older, I'm gonna get bigger, I'm gonna get stronger, and no one's ever gonna hurt me or my mother again.
Yep.
So what happens? I got this mindset, I'm gonna be big and strong. So if I didn't have an outlet, something was gonna happen. One of my local mentors put me in the Pop Warner Pee Wee League football organization. And all of that pain and anguish, all of that frustration that I wanted to take out on someone that was bigger than me, I couldn't. But over here, I could. So that taught me to exert my authority over impose my will on someone else. Now, this is where the flip side comes in, because if you're good at what you do, you get accolades.
Yep.
I get accolades for being more brutal, being more punishing, and inflicting pain on other people. Oh, you get the pat on the back, you get that pat on the butt, you get that trophy, you get a ring. The next thing you know, it's like, okay, that led into middle school, that led into high school. High school lets you know the barometer because now you have colleges coming in to see how brutal you can be, how smart you are, what your acumen is on this field playing football. Well, I was good enough to be all district, all city, all state, everything. Top 100 players out of Texas. Like, okay, now I'm getting recruited because I can impose my will on more people than you can imagine. And I'm great at it. Now you buy into that concept of, hey, man, I could do what I want to who I want when I want. So what you were saying, you walk around, you're addicted to being the man.
Yep.
That narcissism, that level of narcissism puts you where you only focused on you. And I'm like, man, when you hit a college campus and you the man, I don't care if you're a freshman or not. That swag, that demeanor is going to go with you, right?
Yep.
Access to women, just like that. Whatever you want, 2, 3, 4. Hey, go to my room. I'm in 337. Go up there. I'll be there in a minute.
Yep.
You become addicted to that presence, that lifestyle, right? And it's nothing. That's just common. That's your everyday norm. And so what I try to teach guys who, I have 4 players I have 3 players now that are still active in the NFL. I have 1 person that's retired in transition. And now he's at a major crossroads because he's trying to figure out who he is now.
Yep.
Because you've been defined so many times by your vocation. Oh, that's TS. Oh, he a baller.
Yep.
Oh, that's CS. He got the money.
Yep.
That's CS. He doing his thing. That's Corey. He does this. And you're defined by that. And you kind of pigeonhole yourself into that box. And you say, you know what? That is who I am. Until you step out of that, like you said, Trey, you detox yourself from everyone. And over a period of 2 years, you were able to become self-inclusive and find out who you really were. You know, and when you found out who you really were, you're like, you know what? I don't need all of that. That's a distraction. That's a deflection. And that's not what I need. I need people that are going to pour into me like I feel I want to pour into them.
Yep.
And so what men, especially black men as brothers, I've worked really hard to destigmatize that notion of coming to get help. I have an emotional support group that I do here in my facility. Right now it's once a week and I have about 30 guys. It's going to end up being 2 days a week because with the groups getting bigger and people feeling comfortable enough to come in and share and make themselves vulnerable and they feel like they're in a safe, nurturing environment, they tell friends.
And that's what you need, bro. That's what you need, because when you can't, as men, you know, our women say, oh, you could confide in us, you could tell you.
No.
And I can't. As much as I want
not even close, bro.
Not
even close, bro.
Because you're gonna say something in response to what I'm telling you, and that's just gonna piss me off. Yeah. And you don't mean it. You don't mean it. It's your natural reaction to something that you don't physically understand or you think is minute. It ain't minute to me if that's what I'm dealing with.
Because if you're talking about it, right. So if I'm in a position where I'm talking about it,
right.
Guess what? Don't minimize what I'm saying.
Nope.
You have to acknowledge what I'm saying first of all.
Yep.
To understand.
The biggest issue. Go ahead. The biggest issue I see is it's not a lot of men that open up like that. So when you do open up to a female, it's like foreign. So they're looking at you like you a whole sucker because you're feeling emotions, and the world makes us feel like that. This is why, in my mind, not a definitive reason. This is how you get a lot of people to the point of where they just want to give up. And I say this to my son, and I say this to almost anybody I care about. You never know when or how you will get triggered.
Right.
You hold this stuff in so long. When you get triggered, that reaction is fatal so many times and could have been prevented or minimized if people could just have an outlet to talk things out.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Or somebody just to have empathy where you can express yourself. Me and TS sometimes be on the phone, and I can tell them I might should be on a ledge, but my day was just trash.
Right.
And he might call me on some goofy shit. And, okay, I'm back to me. Yeah. Or he might say, man, you need to finish that book.
All the time.
I might be laying in bed doing nothing. He don't know it, man. You need to finish that book. Then I'm going to get up and be like, oh, shit, boom. You know what I'm saying? But I went all my life without any of that.
Yeah, I believe in checking on my friends.
Any of that.
That's kind of
so. Then when you get to, yeah, he does a great job of doing. Get back to the woman. Then when you get to your woman, and you tell her what's really on your mind, she's looking at you like,
you simping.
That's it.
Yeah.
Or you know what I'm saying? You a man, like you a man. You know what you got to do. Fuck, I'm telling her for.
Suck it up.
Yeah. That see, that's that gaslighting shit.
Yeah, suck it up.
I heard that from my mother, man. I used to hear that from my mother all the time. Suck it up. Deal with it.
And then if you talk to a Christian person, but then if you talk to a Christian, all they want to do is pray for you.
Right.
You know what I mean? I had a thing with my father. I'm not saying this is not my father, man. My father's a dope individual. TS, man, my father. My father's great. But anytime you come talk to him, it's always either I've been praying for you or I'm going to pray for you, or he'll bring up coming to church on Sunday, right? Which is a whole nother conversation. Now, I had to tell my father one time, when I come to talk to you, I'm not coming to a pastor. You know, I know it might be hard for you to turn one off and turn another one on, but sometimes I just need to talk to my father. But I realized that for a person that's always been in the church like all their life, it's complicated for them to separate the two because they've always been taught to just turn to prayer and that's it. But the difference, and I told my mother this yesterday, she probably didn't catch it. My mother's 86. I be talking to her sometimes. She looks at me like I'm stupid. What are you talking about, boy? But their generation, that's dead ass. Then I realized,
right.
Oh, I love you, mom. You know, whatever. Let me get some. Let me get some of them greens. But when you grew up with 10, 12 siblings, they didn't even realize it. They were helping each other grow.
Yeah.
I had 2 older brothers, so I'm by myself. I didn't have siblings to depend on to grow, to learn certain things. They didn't even realize almost all of them back then had 10, 12 siblings. So you grow, you develop, you nurture, you enlighten each other throughout the process of growing up. But when you grow up by yourself and you're in New York City, you got the drugs, you got the alcohol, you got the women, you got hooping and all that stuff too. Yeah. But then when the crack hit, you got money.
Yeah.
Now you got new clothes. Now you got more women. You got a different class of women.
Mm-hmm.
Whole nother class of women. And you young. They're doing things to you that like, whoa, they're not doing this in my school.
Right.
You know what I mean? How do you even embrace all of that? Everybody else is just telling you to pray and go to church. That's all they're telling you. That's it.
The funny thing about what you're saying.
They're not talking to you about life, nothing.
Nah. Because everybody's enjoying the moment. Everybody's living in that moment. And they don't want to hear none of that.
How can I be protected in this world? Yeah. Yo, the streets is a war. How can I be protected out here at war when all you told me to do was pray this one day a week? I got 6 other days. And I'm by myself out there. I mean, I got to deal with that. You know what I'm saying? As a child, I dealt with so much racism and different interactions with racist shit, man. But you go to church and they tell you, it doesn't matter what color God is. It doesn't matter what color Jesus is. You got this white Jesus, and they're telling you we pray to one God and we're all one. But there's 100,000 different religions. There's 2 million different ways to pray. But I go out in this world, these white people want to kill me because of the color of my skin. And I'm a child.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. You have over 5,000 religions, right? And I've studied like 13. So it for somebody like me, I'm curious. I got questions out to ask. So what you brought in a great subject matter. I had a meeting the other day with 30 ministers, and we did a podcast, right? And they never saw this. They never heard about doing the podcast. I said, it's no different than you doing your sermon on Sunday. So I introduced them to this podcast world, and they just lost their mind. And I said, you know what? I have a lot of your parishioners, your congregation that come to see me. I said, I have a number of pastors that come to me for counseling. I said, so in order to make y'all feel better, what I've created mental health ministries. Now, I'm not a minister. I'm not a pastor. I'm not a religious zealot or anything like that, but I'm a spiritual person similar to what TS said. You know what I'm saying? I have a great relationship with God. I might not believe in what you believe in over here, but my relationship and my conversations with God is daily, sometimes multiple times a day, right? So I don't really need a book to govern my life and tell me where I need to go and how I need to do it. It's just something innately in me that says, hey, man, you know what? Trey probably don't want no problem with me. I don't want no problem with Trey. TS don't want no problem with me. I don't want no problem with TS. Guess what? You know what? If we become cool, we could build something together. But some people go at it and they look at it like, well, I don't know that dude. I don't know that cat. They do their thing. I do my thing. Let them stay over there. You know what I'm saying?
That's always been our biggest problem.
And so now you have yourself, you're ostracizing yourself. Yeah, and it's terrible. So now imagine how that applies to your personal life. Now you've got this lady that you've married, this woman you married. You really probably don't even know her. Some people get married like 6 months off the rip. And I'm like, you better get to know the person that you're involving yourself with. And they need to get to know you, because what you said earlier, Trey, like don't tell your woman. I tell men all the time, hey, do not go to your woman with your problems. Your woman wants you to be her best friend. You will never be your woman's best friend, ever. And they're like, well, Kris, that's kind of messed up, man. That's kind of fucked up. That's my woman. I love her. We're going to spend the rest of our lives together. And I say, okay, listen, I'm going to tell you just like this. You're going to take your deeper, most innermost secrets and fears, and you're going to express them to this person. And they're going to start to look at you with a skewed point of view.
Every time.
And you don't think that it will, but trust me, whatever that respect level was, if it was on 100, it's slowly going down to 80%, because they're seeing you at your most vulnerable state. They want to feel protected. They want to feel led. They want to feel provided for. And that doesn't look like it. So now there's conflict. You thinking that you're being expressive and sharing, and they're looking at you like you're highly emotional. That's what women do. That's what they're saying. That's what women do. Girl, Trey over here crying, girl.
Oh, no.
Somebody broke in his car. He over here crying again. Like, he called his boy TS, and TS consoling them, like we do with each other. And it's like, whoa. That shit ain't nothing like what y'all do.
Nothing.
What I'm doing is I'm supporting my brother, because I know that gorilla inside of him wants to go tear somebody's fucking head off.
Yep.
See, we've learned the art of suppression and repression. Suppressing, I realized I have a superpower, dog. I have a superpower.
Right.
Because at all times, I'm a fucking silverback gorilla.
Yep.
But I'm a professional. That superpower is called restraint.
Talk about it.
Restraint stops me from doing exactly what my first mind is telling me to do, because I'm known for that. It's telling me, hey, you know what? 10 seconds.
I give you passing grace.
Yeah.
I give you passing grace. Let me chill.
That 5-second incident with somebody I don't know can alter my life forever. Mm-hmm. I worked in the prison system. I was a psychiatric specialist for the state. You don't ever want to graduate. I don't know if anybody's ever been to prison before. Jail is not prison. But prison is hey, bruh, you graduate to the level, the person you're going to have to become to survive, bruh, you from New York, Trey. Rikers is a jail. It's not a prison, but it operates and functions like a prison. Yeah, it's a city unto itself.
Yeah, Rikers is different.
Like, hey, look, bro, you ain't sending me like, Kris, would you do a year for $10 million? Man, I ain't doing an hour. You ain't putting me nowhere ever, because I already know the psychological games that are about to be played. They finna play with you in a number of ways. You're gonna be in a situation where you're doing more time. But
Trey,
like I was saying,
you want to touch on that, Trey?
Oh, well, I mean, yeah, we talking about it. I did security for the Muslims when I did a short bid. You know what I'm saying? That was my way of surviving. You know what I mean? People saw something in me, and they basically appointed me to do it, man, because I don't know why. Maybe I look like niggas ain't want to fuck with me, I guess. I don't know. But I learned a lot, man. Right now, I'm 6'1", 275.
All right. You look, man, I thought you was about 6'4". Okay.
He little as hell, man. Little ass.
He yo, listen. Before I finish, he's 6'6", and he always wants to talk about.
See, now I'm looking at TS. I would have thought TS was like 6'1"?
Nah, I'm 6'1". He's 6'6".
He got a short torso.
I've learned the art of acting like I'm small. You know what I'm saying? So even in camera, I don't have a short torso. Actually, I have a long. But in the camera, I suppress because I don't want, Trey be in his feelings sometimes when he see me. He got them little arms. He be like, yo, I hate you, son. You know what I mean? Like, to make my guy feel good.
Yeah. Okay, so use enforcer. Okay.
Finish my point. When you behind those walls, man, the level of aggression that all of these black men have for no reason, really. I mean, it has a reason. I shouldn't say no reason. I'm talking about the triggers. The triggers can be so light, but they're holding in so much. And to be there with these men that's like talking to me like I got it all together. Like, you got men that have never had anyone to talk to ever. Their first reaction is to fight, to get a gun, just do something violent because they got to let this aggression off. And they've always been that way. And then when they come home, there's nothing for them. The hardest thing in the world, and I spoke to TS about it, man. I went back and got my degree, but it's like, I want to get my master's into therapy, like we're saying, but it's like, you will always have to answer for your worst day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So the traumas you have when you're in prison, they're going to follow you the rest of your life because now you have something new. You have to answer to that day forever. You know what I mean? You're talking about decades ago when that happened with me, but I still have to answer to that day. And you have to convince this person that you're different. And you don't even remember that person. Like, I don't remember that person. You know what I mean? I know of it, but I don't remember that person. I'm not that person. If you knew me back then, it's like you don't know me because that's not what I am. And you always have to answer to that. And these people sometimes can't even handle that because there's no rehabilitation.
Nah, none. Bro, well, just to pause what Trey is talking about, I opened up a school called the Skill Academy, Structured Community Involvement Learning, and it dealt with people who had disabilities and handicaps, right? And it also catered to people that were coming out of the prison industrial complex. And I said, because, well, they wanted to know why I tried to classify ex-felons as those with handicaps and disabilities. I said, because when you come out of the prison, you are dealing with handicaps and disabilities. You're suffering from anxiety, physical trauma, mental trauma, psychological trauma. You're dealing with a number of issues. Now you got to go see this PO, and the first thing he's telling you to do is get a job. Well, I'm still trying to deal with the fact that I don't have a place to stay. So I don't have housing. Yeah. Now you're telling me I got to get a job. Now I got to try to figure out, okay, who's going to hire me? I got a jacket, and that's the first thing they're going to pull up. So it wasn't like today where they can't ask you if you have a felony or that's what I call living inside the box. That box will hinder you from a lot of things and put you in a position where
they can't ask you that.
Right, like in Texas now, they can't ask you that.
Out here,
we ain't in Texas, bro.
Out here,
we're not in Texas, bro.
Big ass box.
Bro, look, check it out. In Texas, and if you've been off probation for 7 years, you can petition to have your record expunged.
Shit. Let me tell you,
but does that cover felonies also, though?
It does.
Well, Texas, North Carolina's an at-will state, bro. They can fire you because they feel like it. You can't do nothing.
Texas is an at-will state, but see, most of the times now, they won't even ask you those questions.
Wow.
They won't be on the paperwork.
That's dope.
And I'm like,
that's dope.
It's on the paperwork. On the paperwork, it's in the interview. You could be working 6 months and they bring you to the HR like, hey, bro.
You didn't.
We just found this information.
Right.
No, even if you put it down, sometimes the background check don't come back till 6 months later. Because sometimes if they really like you, I've had it happen. You know what I'm saying? I've had management positions where I'm good. I've worked for a bank before where my bank card didn't work. I couldn't get in the building. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of times they don't check you before they hire you. If they really like you, they just assume that your shit is clean, so they bring you in the door. This is how their mind is. They judge you by looking at you. You don't look like a person that did this woo-woo. I'm like, did what? I'm a regular person. You don't know what situation it was. A lot of people are in there and just were in the wrong place, wrong time. Yeah, they did a couple little things, but a lot of drug charges aren't what they appear to be when you read what it says.
Trust me, I understand.
Facts.
A drug charge could be just you got an apartment and your roommate has some drugs.
Exactly. But
you know what I'm saying? So, but on that piece of paper, You could be having a charge that faces 20 years, and what you did was like nothing. You'd be like, what? 20 years for that? North Carolina was like notorious for giving crazy big numbers in the 90s.
Yeah.
Wow.
And that's why a lot of people are getting off now. That's the sad part about
it. It's a paperwork thing.
Okay. You see this new law that is just passed, right? I don't know if this is a joke, but supposedly the law was passed yesterday that makes they're decriminalizing marijuana charges.
It hasn't fully passed yet. It's going.
Yeah, it still has to go to the Senate.
They're decriminalizing it. They even making it where if you sell it, you good now. You don't get caught up now.
Yeah.
But guess who's gonna lose out? We gonna lose out
across the board.
That shit.
We always lose out because we go to these people with the fact that I'll give you my vote.
Yep.
All of these other factions go to those people with a check for $30 million collectively, $20 million. Why do you think you see these laws being passed for transgender movements or the gay movement?
Yep.
Well, they're not going with hat in hand and a vote.
Nope.
They're going with 30, 40, $50 million collectivized checks and saying we need this to happen.
Yep, like that Asian bill that passed. From discrimination, that Asian discrimination bill, it passed. It went up and passed immediately. And everybody black kept saying, "Why did that pass?" I said because we ain't coming to the table with no chicken. We ain't coming to the table with no chicken and no idea. We don't have no organization. We don't work together. We don't believe in the NAACP no more.
Nah,
we don't believe
coming with the pastors or the ministers who speak for us or the athletes.
Exactly.
They ain't speaking for us.
It's funny we even talk about it. I had
I'm
a
just
big
being
back and
honest.
forth. No, you're right. I had a big back and forth with local chapter NAACP head because I applied for the NAACP. I applied to work. Just Trey will tell you I'm a devil's advocate type of guy. I kind of like fucking with people a little bit, especially on the mental side of things. I applied, right? So I had a board conversation. They had a meeting, and I walked in there. We had a conversation, and they asked my point of view on a bunch of different subjects, and I'm rebuttal every fucking point of view because I don't believe in none of that shit that they following. And that's when I realized the NAACP is corrupt, and especially locally. It's corrupt. It's bad. It's not. It doesn't work in our favor at all. And I told them that in the meeting. I said, all of these guys are
it's not corrupt, TS. That's the way it was designed.
You're right.
You can't corrupt something that was designed like that.
Facts. I wish I still had the fact button, man. We got to get this facts button fixed, man. But no, that's right. It's designed that way. And I sat there and I gave them the business. And now they don't fuck with me. They see me now.
Hey, you're too aggressive.
Right? Yeah.
We can't let you back in the building.
Man. A lot of that stuff to me, man, is orchestrated submissiveness, man. That's all it is, man.
Yeah,
you're right.
All they doing is creating puppets, man. We a bunch of damn muppets for all these organizations. They ain't trying to uplift nothing.
Nope. Nah. It's no incentive.
They want to keep you control.
Yeah. What's the incentive? Yeah. People keep saying that, man, they gonna have to give us reparations. I said, man, okay. Hold your breath for that. Hold your breath. I've seen them give.
You see what California said? California said for reparations, they are giving reparations, but you got to prove that you're a descendant of a slave. The fuck you gonna prove that? How can you prove that? How can we?
You don't even know your last name.
Hey man, they very strategic though.
Where you get the documentation from?
We gonna give you this, but in order for you to receive it, you have to show me that you're related to Trey. You should have to show me that you're related to TS.
Yep.
Because that means that the bloodlines. Have you done a 23andMe? The fuck out of here, 23. Man. Come on, man. It gets to the point where it will make you feel like you don't have all your faculties. Because in your mind, you're saying, this is common sense. It should be common sense for everyone. And they'll look at you with a straight face, and it'll be a blank, straight face and say, well, Christopher, I don't seem to understand. What the hell do you mean you don't understand? It's kind of like when I was saying, do not share and divulge a lot of personal information to your spouse or to your partner.
Right. Because
they're going to look at you and treat you differently. It's like what I had to use this the other day. I said, man, right now I'm dealing with a lot of clients that have the Kevin Samuels syndrome. The husbands are saying, you know what? I agree with him. And the wives are like, he's trash. All he does is belittle women. And I said, this is going to be interesting because I've watched a number of episodes from KS. Some things I said, you have a point. I get where you're going with it.
Right.
I understand you building a platform.
Right.
And at the same time, I'm like, dude, if I ever heard you talk to my daughter if I heard you talk to my sister or my mother, it wouldn't be no Will Smith shit.
Nah.
And hey, I'm trying to suppress these natural inclinations to go gorilla because now you're being disrespectful. It ain't, it's a certain tone and attack, as professional brothers that you're going to take with one another. I'm not going to walk up the tray and just be like, hey man, you don't fit in my high-powered men's category. Right. Like, who said I wanted to fit in your damn category?
Word.
Yeah, the high value.
Yeah, high value. Yeah. Oh, yeah. And it's like, really, bro? I get I understand what you're doing.
Right.
But it's like the reverse of the Derrick Jackson stuff. I'm not trying to throw other people's names in your cast, but it's like
we killed them names. No, that's cool.
Yeah, it's like okay, bro.
We both watch. We're avid watchers of. I'm not Derrick Jackson, but we'll watch some of Kevin Samuels, and like you said, some things he say are poignant points, and a lot of things he says is some bullshit. It's like, and we don't follow that metric, especially in the way that you handle women in conversation.
But there's a good sector of brothers out here who are solely living like this now.
Oh, yeah.
Based on what he says. And I'm like, okay, great. This is going to keep me in business for a long time.
Yeah.
Because now with couples, it's $400 a couple. Now you having these issues. I'm going to come in and I'm going to work with you. How many hours would you like to book today? 2? Great.
Yeah.
$1,000 Tuesday.
Let me get that.
Yeah, let's go. So and I'm making fun of it. So don't think, Trey, that it's only about the money. But what you're gonna find is that when you start to get into this, your time is gonna be precious. It's gonna be so valuable. And when people know that this is the lane that you're in now, man, they're gonna come and try to feed off that energy. I'm an energy person, so I'm fueled up by what you guys have going on. I hear the clips and the synopsis of your podcast, and I'm like, oh man, I wish I would have jumped in on that. I would go right in right there. And I hear these things, and I'm like, oh, that gives me fuel. Right. I got a trademark that's called Sharks Don't Sleep. Mm-hmm. And the thing about sharks is one drop of blood in the water, they coming to eat.
Yep.
And sharks really don't sleep. They are dormant, but that's not a sleeping mode because that drop of blood will awaken any shark in that vicinity within 2 miles. In 2 miles, I can smell blood.
Different.
You're a perpetual hunter.
Yep.
That's like life. In business, you're always on your grind. You're always working towards your next meal. You eat what you kill.
Fact.
And if you don't put that in the system, you're not running. So you got to put yourself in a situation where it's something all the time.
When Trey dropped that book, and he, once again, like he spoke of it earlier, like I'm pushing, and I know he's almost done. But once he dropped that book and he started putting this out, even his own podcast, you know what I'm saying? Once he does his own podcast and everything, that's when Trey is really going to see the fruits of his information that he provides. Because I've personally learned a lot from him in conversation. You know what I'm saying? And I don't bring it up like I'll talk shit to him. He know how to do it. And I purposely do devil advocate stuff with him because I know he drops even more jewels. In a heated conversation, he drops a lot of dope jewels. And then I laugh. And then I'll just start laughing at him. And he's like, what the fuck you laughing at me? I'm like, man, because you're giving a lot of great information that I think everyone wants to hear. That's why we do this pod. That was the reason, like, I started this pod with another person. I met him a little bit before we started the pod. So I need a third person. I brought in another guy, but I kept thinking about him. I said, I brought in a third person, but I was like, and that third person is my man because he watches our pod. He knows he's my man. But Trey fit what I was looking for just from our social media conversations, our text back and forth. He fit what I was looking for and bringing a larger scope of conversation to it, a more depth conversation. Because he'll say some shit that I don't even think about, in a lot of our conversations, and I'm like. And every time I'm like, see, that's why I wanted him on this pod and now that we're doing it just us two, the chemistry is totally different because we've had years to build. We've had years to build, years of conversations, and all our podcast is what we normally talk about anyway. down to some of the shenanigans. It's really what our normal conversation is.
Trey, when your book coming up?
It'll be after the summer, because in the summer I'm putting out I got my EP, we got a short documentary, and I got a book of 50 poems that is gonna be revolved around something similar to my EP. My EP is called Love Makes a Difference. And my poetry book is gonna be 50 poems based on a long distance relationship and the thought process that goes through a man's mind. Some romantic, some dealing with isolation, some dealing with overcoming addiction. So it's gonna be 50 poems revolved around that. And the book is going to be a separate entity within itself. So it's going to be like a dot box. You know, I'm going to have some kind of merch within that. Like I said, it's going to be EP, documentary, the poetry book. And I got a comic book too. It's an anti-bullying comic book. I have like 10 limited edition copies I'm going to have within 10 limited edition dot boxes that we're going to start with as far as.
What you call it, dot box?
Yep.
Yeah, TS came up with that. Yeah.
Love it. Hey man, we're gonna have to really collaborate on some things, because when you see the stuff that I can do, you're gonna be like, what the hell?
Well, I'm at a point now where I just want to be, for the rest of my existence, man, I'm just gonna be creative. Just do creative things.
Yeah.
And whatever creative things people bring. Like I got a hip hop soul project I'm doing with my man Elias Soul also, that I might even have within the dot box. It's just some different stuff merging, you know, me and MC and this guy being soulful. And it's not saying it because I'm doing it. It's actually real dope for the grown person that still loves music. I mean, it's some laid back driving your car shit, smoke a cigar and chill. It's gonna be dope, bro. I very rarely get excited, but I'm excited at the projects I got really coming off. A lot of this stuff really is thanks to TS, man, because sometimes you got a beautiful car, you just don't have no gas in it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You know, TS been my gas for a minute.
I be pushing because he's talented. My thing is, I've worked in music for years. I've worked for multiple labels. I've worked in many different forms, and I still work with artists currently. So when I see him and I see how dope he is, and I hear people saying, "Oh, you can't be a rapper after a certain age," I disagree, because his talent showcases that he can be. It's just sometimes you just need that extra idea, that extra push, someone to be behind you. And because if it was whack, I would tell him I ain't feeling that shit. You know what I'm saying? But he hasn't done anything whack. My only thing is, and I tell him all the time, bro, we got to push the envelope. We got to meet people where they are. His age demographic, my age demographic, for the most part, we're not digitally. They want to still touch. You know what I'm saying? I buy vinyl. I buy vinyl. I buy different shit. I'm still, even though I'm a digital head, like, don't get me twisted. I'm a tech junkie, but I'm still, when it comes to my music, the way I consume, I listen to full projects. I like to touch. I like to buy merch. I buy artist merch all the time. I'm going to go copy a hoodie. I'm going to go buy, I just bought an artist book, a female artist. I bought a book and went to her listening event. You know what I'm saying? And just about her book. So the same thing applies to him. Bro, let's put something tangible together for people to put in their hand.
Exactly.
So when they get it, like the documentary I shot. His doc is it's just gonna be about him recording his process and then his conversation based on the process. Like, I gotta sit down with him again soon, and I've been meaning to say something, Trey, because you've done more since the last time we've sat down and I recorded you talking about the project. So even that, him with Elijah Soul, like him doing something with that brother, dope. It's a dope mix. Everything he's doing makes sense. And for me, it gotta make sense. If it don't make sense, I don't believe in doing nothing that doesn't make sense. What he's doing makes sense, and it fits him and his brand. Once again, pushing the book, pushing the podcast, pushing these certain things, because him being creative, you see the best Dot. You see the best Tre-Dot. You know what I'm saying? Him being creative. When he's like, yo, man, I don't work 67 hours this week. I'm like, man, once we get you over here, them 67 hours is gonna flow, because it's gonna be all in a creative space. You know what I'm saying?
That's real.
And he
just for me and you talk like that. For me and you talk like that, bro, I would think that y'all been partners for like 20, 25 years.
Nah.
Real time. This is exactly how me and my best friend talk. I'm not joking.
I
believe in my brother's keeper. I believe
it happened.
My brother's keeper, man. That's why.
And honestly, man, like when I say I detoxed myself from the world for 2 years, I did that. Because in my mind, I was like, yo, if I detox myself from this energy that's not good for me, you know, the universe will put some stuff in front of me that'll get me to be the person I want to be, or the person I'm destined to be, I would say. And I mean, for lack of a better word, it's work. You know what I'm saying? I have a small team of people that I love and I know love me. And I still go through my bouts of feeling like I don't want to move. You know what I'm saying? But that team of people keeps me going. You know, without knowing, they keep me going. You know what I'm saying? Because, you get to a point to where you see people profiting off of things that you're great at and they fucking suck.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That's why I heard
and
that you said it on your last podcast. And I'm like,
yeah, I said it, and
right.
I meant that shit. Y'all suck. Y'all ain't shit.
Yeah.
And what I hate more than anything, first of all, I hate MCs that are trash. Even if you're doing that rap mumble stuff, some of them are good. I hate musicians that are trash, one. Another thing I hate, I told you, I hate therapists that aren't true to the craft. Because sometimes you have people life in your hands. And a lot of people are just doing it for a money grab. Yeah, it's lucrative. Yeah, it is. But you have a responsibility to touch people. Even with music, I always said I'd rather touch one than confuse a million. I'm not here to play games with people. You know what I'm saying? I understand what it feels like to feel alone in a crowded room. I understand what it feels like to feel like the walls are closing in and you're just stuck and can't move. I understand what it feels like to need medicine to move forward within life, whatever that medicinal thing is. I understand what addictive personality is because I still have it. But I use that to do positive things. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So for a therapist to play with those things, I'm not cool with that. I really have a problem with that. You know what I'm saying? And that's why when I found out you was a therapist, I'm like, God damn, I'm talking to this dude on a regular basis. And he's doing something that I aspire to do.
Right.
Yeah. And plus, but I also use that as the universe putting things to me.
Yep. Right. We talked about bringing a therapist on. We've had multiple therapists hit us asking to be on our pod, and we vet everyone. You know what I mean? I know I'm a big vetter. You know what I mean? So I vet, and when your life don't match up to what you spewing, a lot of times for me, I personally can't fuck with it. And I know if I can't fuck with it, my bro can't. He ain't gonna fuck with it neither. He probably won't fuck with it more than I don't fuck with it. You know what I mean?
Sometimes that's where, working with these companies, it creates an air of conflict.
Oh, yeah.
Because at one point they're profit driven.
Yes.
And so you're only going to try to work with the people that can bring you the most profit, right?
Yes.
And they, when I told them, I said, you know what, I already built up an incredible portfolio. That means I have resources. I have resources for people that are insured. I have resources for people that are uninsured, meaning that they're indigent. And when you're indigent, you don't have anything. You might not even have a place to stay, but you need help.
Right.
So I have to make it a point to have those resources in place. When you call me and you tell me you don't have anything, Mr. Kris, I need help. Oh, don't worry about it. I got you.
Right.
I know the nonprofits. I know the for-profits. I have the resources to put you anywhere that you need to be if you need the help. Right. If you want the help right now, I got you.
Right.
You just got to be willing. But sometimes they play with themselves because they're looking for the next high.
Yeah.
They're looking for the next fix. Now with the fact that they have something that's stronger than fentanyl out on the street now, it's crazier.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Because now they're searching for that, and I'm like, this stuff will kill you instantly. These cats out here making Percocets, imitation Percocets that's cut with fentanyl. They're not chemists.
Nope.
One bad hit, one bad match, and you're dead.
I mean, shit, even for them to even mix it, you touch fentanyl's so bad, you touch it with your pure skin, you can instantly die. Like that shit.
Exactly. You can touch it with gloves on.
Yeah.
And it'll go through the gloves.
Yes, that's
so I travel with Narcan. You familiar with Narcan?
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yep.
So I travel with a couple of cases of Narcan because I'm gonna come across someone in the next week or so that's gonna need Narcan.
Yep.
Maybe 2 hits.
Yep.
To just try to bring them back. And I'm like,
OD. Yep.
Yeah.
I knew someone that we had to been around me that was bad with drugs, and we tried our best to get them as much help as possible. Because I didn't believe in that. That's one thing I didn't believe in. I know we're not talking, but at one point I was a drug dealer, so I didn't. But if you was around me, I didn't want to see no one strung out. But I had to keep Narcan on me because I knew I was going to walk up on this person one day and they were going to be in a state where they're going to need it. And damn if it didn't happen.
Bro,
and that shit was crazy to me. So.
It's the craziest thing. And I know we probably getting to the end of the show, but it's only 2 things that'll kill you if you stop cold turkey. And one is alcohol. Alcohol and benzos. You stop either of those cold turkey, you will go into a seizure. That seizure will cause cardiac arrest. you will die. No ambulatory service will get to you fast enough in order to revive you. In this past, just since January, I think I've lost 4 clients who tried to go it alone and say, I'm going to stop drinking and I'm going to go cold turkey. And against medical advice, they did it anyway. And the first thing they do is they call me, Mr. Kris, I'm sweating, and I'm keep drinking this water. I say, your body is telling you it needs the alcohol because it's operated so long and it functions off of that. That's now your fuel. So I'm not telling you to go drink a handle or a fifth of anything, but you need that alcohol in your system right now. You have to be medically assisted to wean yourself off. Or if you're going to do it on your own, you can't stop cold turkey. You have to, over a period of 2 to 3 weeks, lessen the intake that you have of this.
Right.
Benzos, stop cold turkey. Everything else, every opioid that's out there, from Oxy to Perk, whatever, even the pain medication, all of it is pain medication.
Right.
It won't kill you, but it will make you feel like you're dying. That's the part you have to go through, because sometimes when you go into a detox program, they'll just put you in a room. There's no medicine that will help you detox without the pain. You're going to have to go through that pain like heroin withdrawal. It won't kill you, but you're going to feel like you're dying.
Right.
And it's going to last anywhere from 4 to 7, sometimes 10 days.
Shit.
You're going to feel like crap, but you have to go through that pain. That pain is actually letting you know that you're still alive. And a lot of people don't see it like that. I asked somebody one time, and I'll ask you guys, Trey, what's the hardest part of your day?
The hardest part of my day sometimes going to work, bro.
Going to work? Okay.
Yep.
TS, what's the hardest part of your day?
Shit, man. I've built my life right now to a point where I don't have any hard days anymore, man. At one point, I same thing. It was probably going to this job that I didn't like. That was probably the hardest part of my day. But I think right now the hardest part of my time is I travel a lot. So I hate to say it, man. I'm a family man. Leaving the crew, leaving my fam, you know what I mean? The wife and the boys and my daughter. So that's, other than that, bro, I'm going to keep it a buck, bro. These past couple of years been pretty fucking smooth.
I got you. Well, check it. And we all have the same issue.
What you say about yourself? What's the hardest part of your day, though?
The hardest part of our day is waking up.
I get
because we don't control it.
I got you. Hey, look at you. That's some shit Trey would do. Some old.
I'm letting him get the floor today. He gonna get the floor.
Shit.
Hey, he been listening to me cook long enough. I gotta let him cook.
That's some bullshit, man.
Nah, but think about it, bro.
Right.
Your
right.
alarm
We don't
clock.
Control that.
Nothing outside of something higher than yourself wakes you up.
Yep.
That's why I say when you said the spirituality and talking about Trey's father is a pastor, and it's like you realizing that some people didn't wake up today.
Yeah,
some people are not in the position on this side of the earth. You know what I'm saying?
That's facts.
So man, but
I really
appreciate
we get so
y'all.
self-indulged in our own selves, man. We a lot of times we forget about that aspect of it because we maneuvering in the world, sometimes selfishly. You know what I mean? Where you don't think about, you may not think about the bigger picture or others. I know I've programmed myself for these couple of years to, if you're not within, as Trey would say, my half moon, I don't give a fuck what you do. You know what I'm saying? Because I was always trying to bring up and build people and help people. And, you know what I mean? A lot of times that should backfire. You know what I mean, helping people or thinking about others as much when you don't think about yourself, or when they do something that you deem out of character, you realize out of character for who? Maybe out of character for you. That might have been their normal positioning from the beginning. You just overlooked it because you built them up to be a certain way. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I feel like this for a lot of my friendships have been one-sided, where I was always supplying that and didn't receive it. So now I'm purposeful within my friendships. Yes, we act like we've been knowing each other since we was kids, 20 plus years, because our friendship is purposeful. You know what I'm saying? I know I can dial him and he's there, he'll listen if I have something going on, and vice versa. Our friendship is not one-sided, where every time I talk to him is he's pouring his information into me, and I'm sitting here as a retention wall, just letting it hit me. You know what I'm saying? We go into our friendship amicably. You know what I'm saying? And
That's real.
a lot of times, a lot of people aren't that. You know what I mean? So that's
True.
why now all my friendships that I have within my half moon are purposeful. You know, and Trey, I'm trying not to trademark that, but you keep around, I'm gonna do it.
Trademark that. hey, real talk. Hey, but real on you know, to summarize what you just said, it's just like with my best friend Carlos Anthony. He's a photographer on Facebook, but our whole purpose for this year was to be intentional, deliberate, and unapologetic.
Facts.
And if you're not operating like that, I really don't have time for what you got going on, because it's trying to take my train, it's trying to derail my train that I already have on the tracks, that's already going down the tracks.
Facts.
If I have to stop my train to help you connect your caboose to it, it might not work. You need to be moving like I'm moving so that we can move together and we can be effective, we can be impactful, and we can actually hit this game with like a sledgehammer.
Yeah, purposeful movements, man. I definitely agree. Yo, question. Go ahead and let everybody know about first of all, the first book that you got on your desk. Please let it, show that again, because I'm recording this. This video will be up.
No
and
doubt.
All our guests, I put the videos up.
So the first book is called "It's All About Perspective." It's a book of positive quotes and affirmations by Kris White. It's some great things in here, and I designed it purposefully to make your eyes go where I need them to go. And so if you would see by some of the wording and the way it's
I like that
strategically placed, blacks, grays, and whites. When you're doing a book this size, it could get expensive, so if you use color, you're gonna spend some money. And not that it's an issue, but that means you got to pass that on to the consumer. So the first book is It's All About Perspective. I have 4 books coming out throughout this year. One is Sharks Don't Sleep. It's a GPS to success. One is called Addicted to More, which talks about addictions and whether you feel that you're addicted to anything in life or not, and how it's just like in the game ism, right? And if you ever been around that life, you know that ism usually comes from pimps talking about, I'm giving you some of this game, just that ism. But most people don't even know what ism is.
Right.
And that's that in search of more.
Yep.
That's the ism. So when I say addicted to more, that's what that is. The follow-up, the book that's going to come out first, though, is right now it's called Everything Men Wish Women Understood.
Love it.
That'll be out in the next 2.5 weeks.
I love it.
So it's really insight to what the conversations that we're having with one another.
Right.
And now I'm giving tips to women to listen to certain things when their man is trying to communicate with them, because it's not usually the communication that's the issue, it's a lack of understanding.
Right.
That's the issue. Because if you can't understand, you can't pick up what I'm putting down. I need to reiterate this so that you can flow with it and you understand why I'm saying this. I'm not just giving out a faucet of false information. I'm feeling this way. You need to acknowledge that I'm feeling this way, and then you need to accept it.
I like that.
Now, what you do with it and process, that's on you.
I like that. I
Dope.
like that.
Dope.
Trey, you got anything else, my brother?
No, I think this is a dope show. Dope show. Glad to hear my brother talk. You gotta let him cook. People listen to me every week, man. They're gonna listen to me some more tonight.
Yo. Oh man, I'd like to thank everybody for tuning into the Black Male Podcast, man. And we're gonna break down our live podcast, our live audio podcast that happened this past Sunday. On our Friday episode, we wanted to make sure the Tuesday episode was dedicated to our guests. I'd like to thank you again, Kris White, for tapping in with us and sitting down and politicking with us, man. So it was a great
Appreciate
great
you,
episode.
brothers.
Yo, this was episode 40, once again, of the Black Male Podcast. Once again, I'm TALLSHON. TS is who I am.
Tre-Dot is who I am.
And we out, man. We catch y'all later.